We are live. What's going on, guys? Good morning. Brent Abel here, webtennis.com. Hope you're having a great day so far. Wherever you are, I am here in the California desert, Southern California, looking out west toward the San Jacinto Mountains. Looks like another beautiful day here. In the desert, Rancho Mirage, Mission Hills Country Club, and wherever you are, again, hope you're having a spectacular Saturday morning so far. So what I've got for you today is we're going to go through a doubles point. We're going to kind of do a live version of what's the right shot. And if you've been with me at all or over to my YouTube channel, one of the playlists I've got over there are over 250 episodes of what's the right shot. And it's mostly doubles, but there are some singles points in there as well. And so look, it's over at youtube.com. You can search it. It's under Web Tennis, WEBTENNIS. Actually, the URL is youtube.com/web tennis. And, you'll see the daily video, whatever is posted today will be there on the top of the channel. But if you go down below and scroll down below, you'll find a couple of playlists. And one of them is what's the right shot. And so anyway, there you have it. But we're going to do a live version today of a point that I think you're going to find kind of fun. But before we do that, hey guys, today, look, if you love what I'm doing here on these daily videos, these tennis instructional daily videos, today what I'm going to offer you is a free course that normally I charge for. But if you'll hit the share button, whether you're over at YouTube or the share button in Facebook, just let me know in the comments area. I'll be more than happy to give you a copy of. In fact, let me kind of bring this up, which I think is really a big time important thing, which is how to stop peaking, right? So we all know what peaking is, right? Is right before you make contact. And, it can happen on any stroke, right? Forehand, backhand, ground stroke. It can happen on an approach shot. Certainly can happen on volleys. We see it a lot on serves and overheads where you start looking out into the landscape just a nanosecond before you make contact because you want to see the result of what you're about to do. And unfortunately, what that does, especially on ground strokes, it slightly pulls the swing path out of alignment. And, lots of times it's just a big old clunker. Or in the serve where we kind of pull our eyes down to start looking at our intended result prior to making contact, kind of jackknife of the way at the waist, not what we want. So look, guys, I'm happy to give you this course if you'll hit that share button. Again, whether you're on Facebook today, over at YouTube, and just let me know. Just let me know you shared it by putting in the comments area, and I'll make sure that I get you the link to this course. So what we are going to do today is we're going to go through. Here it is. We're going to go through this point, and I got to find it here, and I think that's it. That's not it. Hold on, let me go. Is it this? Yes. All right, here we go. So this is a point, several years ago that was played over at the Berkeley Tennis Club, right where I grew up as a kid. Didn't play much tennis, even though my mom and dad remembers when I was born back in, oh my gosh, 1948. Do the math on that one. You might need a big memory, little something to be able to figure out what that age is. Anyway, 72 at the moment. But look, this is on court 9, backcourts of the Berkeley Tennis Club, Claremont Hotel looming in the background, and just kind of a fun doubles point. And so what I'm going to do on this is I'm going to take us through this point, and there's several shots where I'm going to stop and freeze the camera and just ask you, what do you think's the right shot? Okay, so here we come, little transitional forehand volley right here. All right, and go ahead. I don't know how many people we got on right now, but let me know. Let me know what shot you would play, and just go ahead and type that into the comments area. And if you don't have a choice, that's fine. That's fine. Forehand volley, right? Forehand volley, transitional volley. The returners played a chip in charge off the backhand, second serve, chip in charge off the backhand is actually in closer than I am, right? A hair, the serve's taking him a hair in the middle, but that's okay, right? And so what shot would you play? Well, I think a lot of players would, in this situation, either okay, just got a message from the great Tony Dawson. Mate, good morning. Happy birthday, Ellen. So there are shot choices. And I think what happens here too often, a lot of players want to take kind of a shoulder high volley and sort of go up the line with this ball. And the problem with that is that if this player has got an opportunity to be able to make a volley, you're kind of hung out to dry over here. And obviously this is wide open, right? So my shot choice here is going to be, hey, Rich, good morning, lefty, is going to be cross court. And I'm just really trying to get the ball down to my opponent, to that returner. The great George Mays with a stab forehand volley gets to it. And then Clifford with a tough little high backhand volley and at least keeps the ball in play, right? So almost everyone's out of position right now, right? I mean, at least my partner is hung out in the alley, and George over there, the returner's hung out in the alley. So Jerry plays the ball. I think a smart shot, right? And so I'm going to pause it here again and ask you if this is you, and that's me. If this is you, what shot are you going to play? And, a smart shot here would obviously be a lob. And the reason that a smart shot would be a lob is because my partner and I are just woefully out of position. And we would like to be able to buy some time to get repositioned, right? So I, for whatever reason, bonehead maybe, I choose not to lob. And what I'm thinking about here is, well, maybe I can slide this little thing cross court and somehow get it past Jerry. And I don't quite get it cross court, right? I actually hit it right to Jerry. And so here we go. So Jerry's got an interesting shot choice here. He could play a volley up the line, right? He could play a volley, maybe crease it in between the two of us. He and his partner are really kind of in good court positions now. He could play it down here at Cliff's feet, or he could go ahead and do what he does, and that's going to play a little dropper. And the reason I like the dropper here is because I always think about, especially in singles, what's the longest distance you can make your opponent run? And a lot of players say, well, it's not here, it's over here in the corner. And actually it's not. I mean, if you were to take a tape measure, the longest distance that I would have to run for this ball would be a drop volley up in here. And that's exactly what Jerry plays, right? So I get on my horse, right? And I'm just taking off. And the first thing I'm thinking about is trying to measure, number one, am I going to get to it before it bounces twice? And if that's the case, kind of get a sense. And look, this is all kind of different this is obviously a hard court. So the ball's probably going to bounce a little higher than if it was certainly on a grass court, which we play a lot of here at Mission Hills. And in this case, there'd be no way. I mean, the grass court would just deaden it. I'd never get to it. A hard court, it's going to sit up a little bit. Clay court, maybe kind of the same thing in terms of sitting up a little bit. So first thing first is all right, I can get to it before it bounces twice. And right, not the greatest dropper in the entire world. And now for me, it's going to be shot choice. And look, I think a lot of players get screwed up, and I used to make this mistake here, is because I would go, okay, well, I could go cross court. I could go right at Jerry. I could go in the middle. I could do several different shots. And by the time you arrive, you know what? You're so confused. There's so many shot choices that you really don't commit to one. So for me, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to get to it. And my shot choice is going to be based on I'm not going to be able to recover. So whatever shot I hit, I'd better be able to, go for something where if my opponents guess where I'm going, that my partner Cliff, who's now, working himself into the middle of the court, that he can actually have a chance to cover. It's going to be 2-on-1. It's going to be two, them on one, my partner Cliff, for a moment as I try to recover. And so I've already chosen, look, let's just go ahead and play this shot between George and Jerry. And I can't push it over there because I need to get a little speed on my shot. And so I've already decided I'm going to go ahead and top this thing between the two guys. But as you'll see, this is not a big racket back type of prep because racket back kind of is not very efficient running wise, right? I mean, that's just not the way we move. So my racket stays out to my side. And now the key here to get some power, to get some pace, to get some spin is you got to be relaxed in your wrist, right? You got to be relaxed in your grip pressure. You cannot be squeezing tight thinking that that's how you're going to get your power. So make sure you relax your fingers on the handle and just let her go. Let it go, right? Don't try to steer it over there. And look, this is 1 point in the match, right? If you make it, great. If you don't make it, big whoop, right? It's not the end of the world. So why not have a little fun with this thing and just go for the middle? And look, in this case, boom, it worked out. Now, let me back up a little bit and talk to you about why racket prep sometimes gives away. Not only, we talked about how racket prep here for me, if I went racket back or if I, did something that wasn't natural in terms of a natural running motion, sometimes that not only slows you down, but it also signals to your opponents what you might possibly do. It starts making them think, well, now I'm starting to, go through process of elimination. Well, Brent's not going to do this. He's not going to do this. So maybe we've got it whittled down to 2 possible shots. So my point is that I'm coming in here. They're not really sure. They're not really sure where my shot choice is or what my shot choice is and what my target is. And what that means is that it's tougher for them to guess or anticipate. And so maybe, just maybe that is one of the things that helps me in terms of keeping that middle wide open. And look, you got to want to get to this ball, right? You've got to want to dig and hustle and just go, I am not going to let this thing bounce twice. And relax fingers, relax grip, and then don't tighten up on it. Just let her go. Just let her go. And there you have it. So, yeah. A lot of kind of, it's interesting. Every point in doubles, if it goes for more than, say, 3 or 4 shots, there's a lot going on in just 1 point here. And, we've talked about this part before where, I kind of miss the serve here pretty big time, right? This first serve, it's a solid halfway between the service line and the baseline. And one of the things we've talked about before is these few seconds that you have between missing the first serve and then getting ready to play your second serve. And, for me, it's like the first thing I do right here is even though I'm looking up, I don't know, maybe make an excuse. Oh, the sun. Well, the sun wasn't in my eyes. I don't know what I'm looking at. Maybe I'm looking at the beautiful Claremont Hotel. Kind of relax me. But the first thing I do when I miss the first serve is I check my grip pressure to make sure that it's relaxed so that I don't tighten up for the second serve, right? And the first thing we do is we can have a lot of mental stuff going on in terms of, God, it's a big point. I hope I don't miss or whatever. And what's this returner going to do with my second serve? And a lot of that is based on the tension that you have on your racket handle. How much tension are you bringing in right now? And so the first thing I always do is make sure, hey man, loose fingers in the racket. And then right now I'm thinking, okay, what's my target? And I'm thinking positive thoughts. I'm not thinking, hey, don't miss. Well, we all know how that works, right? When you tell yourself, well, don't do something, typically for whatever reason we do it. But I'm just telling myself, really, here's my target. And as we've talked about before, I'm thinking more about the target being what's the little window above the top of the net that I want this serve to pass through. And then right before I start the tossing motion, I do like to check my grip pressure again as a reminder. It's a cue, especially on the second serve. Keep those fingers relaxed so that, why do we do this? Well, the reason we do this is so we get more racket speed. We get more racket speed as we go up into contact. And for me, what I like to feel right here, I like to actually feel my fingers right here being relaxed and just ensuring that I don't right about here get a little grippy, right? I got to make sure that thing stays relaxed so that I can get some racket speed. And look, you can kind of see almost, it just kind of flips right here. The racket head just kind of flips and there you have it. So lots to study on this point. And, if you want to copy this point, just kind of the raw version of the copy, let me know. I'm happy to give that to you. In fact, what I may do is just upload it into the comments area for you. So you can kind of tinker with it and take a look at it. Guys, that's it for me today. Let's stop sharing. So get my mug back on here with you guys. Look, if nothing else, would love to hear from you, either in the comments area or you can direct message me or shoot me an email, brent@webtennis.com. Do you like these versions of what's the right shot? And, what's the right shot? The whole premise is really just two things. Number one is shot choice, right? Where do you want the ball to land over there in the court? And then number two, court position. Where do you want to move to next so that you add another layer of difficulty for your opponents in terms of your shot choice, right? So I think too many players, especially in both singles and doubles, all they really think about is shot choice and executing that shot in such a way that it most likely won't come back. And really what I've discovered in senior tennis over the years, over the decades, is that the second part of shot choice, which is where do you want to move to next on the court, is maybe the most important thing. I can't tell you how many intentional approach shots I've hit that I didn't hit very cleanly. They just went over there and they kind of sat up. But because I had really good follow-up court position, which means that I'm not standing where I just played my shot from, but I've actually had good footwork moving through it. Maybe didn't execute the technique so well, but because I'm now in a better court position, so that I've now presented my opponent with this geometry, which says that, okay, all right, not a great approach. It's kind of sitting up there for you. I'll give you a couple feet to my, up the line, let's say, or a couple feet cross court, or a couple feet over the top of my head for lob. But that's it, man. You gotta thread the needle. And lots of times with that little sitter, what happens is either they miss it or they give you a ball that you can handle. Are they gonna hit some winners from time to time? Of course. And that's okay. But you got to make sure that you're not measuring how you're doing with planting your fanny up on the service line or slightly in service line in terms of the next best court position. And every time you lose a point going, maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I shouldn't be coming in. Maybe I should just stay back. And you got to look at the big picture over the course of a match, especially in singles, where, you know, you're out there kind of on an island all by yourself and you play an approach shot, even if it's a good one, and the opponent over there gets over there and just rips a pass by you. And so can they do that every time? No, they can't. And the more you come in, the more you put your butt up there and challenge him to pass you, to challenge him to go for it, the chances go up. And I learned this from Mr. Stowe way back in the day. He just said, hey, look, if you keep pressuring guys with good court position, even the great players eventually become human. And look, I mean, this is sort of I've gotten a little bit off topic this morning, but this is a discussion for another time. And I'm happy to share some stories with you about when I first got with Mr. Stowe, and he got in my head. He says all this stuff about challenge the guy to go for a pass. And I just trusted it. And eventually I started beating some good guys, not because I was really a great shot maker, but now I just changed my average court position from being behind the baseline to, you know, trying to end at the point. When the point's over, where am I? I don't want to be in the baseline anymore. I want to be up inside or on top of that service line when the point's over, win or lose. And that for me was just kind of a big game changer in terms of me becoming a better tennis player. So guys, hope you enjoyed today's live video. As always, love to hear from you, either in the comment section, Facebook or YouTube. And again, if you want a copy of my course, which is, let me go ahead and tee this up again here for you. I guess I've already shut it down. My apologies. But I've got a copy. I'm happy to give you a copy of my how to break the peaking, right? The peaking where we P-E-E-K-I-N-G, the peaking habit. And we see Fed, who, you know, to me is the master of not peaking, right? How he keeps his head still, how he keeps his eyes down, you know, as he finishes the swing. And for me, that's a big deal. It just gives me more confidence when I'm really disciplined to doing it. And for a long time, I had to break that habit of looking up, of peeking, taking a sneak peek out in the landscape right before contact. So look, if you want a copy of that course, I'm more than happy to give it to you. All you got to do, all I ask is that go ahead and share today's live video, whether you're on YouTube, over here at Facebook or on Facebook, and then in the comment section, or you can DM me, direct message me, and just let me know that you shared it, and I'll trust you on that. And then just go ahead and give you that course. Guys, on that, I don't know about where you are, but today, Southern California desert, wow, it's just gorgeous here today. Could get up in the, I don't know, mid to high 70s today. Anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out with me again today. As always, get out there today. Help someone else have a spectacular day. Guys, I will see you again tomorrow.